We are bringing you the first part of the finale of Star Trek Reliant, Star Trek Adventures game that is set in the Star Trek Online universe. It stars a number of Star Trek Online players and Foundry creators. I've come up with the story this time. My name is John, and you might hear them call me Hippie. I just enjoy telling stories and wasn't about to stop just because we don't have, the in-game tool to do it anymore. Let me introduce the crew to you. We have Duncan Idaho, who plays our captain, Marcus Graves.
Hello, hello.
Duncan was a longtime Foundry author when we had it up. Our first officer, also a longtime Foundry author, Lennis Kendra, playing our first officer. Okay, I didn't hear her, but I did see her unmute.
Hello?
There we
Hello?
go.
There we
Hello.
go. There we go. We have Casmodian, also a longtime Foundry author. He plays our Chief Science Officer, Quentin Reynolds.
Hopefully nothing will go horribly wrong with science.
Hopefully nothing goes horribly wrong. We have Jarlin, who is playing Kara Junrani, our ship's pilot and life sciences officer.
We're the masters of space. Say what? Don't mess around.
We have our friend Nick playing Dr. Eli O'Connor. Nick has recently gotten a new position with an organization that he works with called Gaze in Space. That's really kind of super awesome. If you want to tell us about the new thing you're doing with them while we're getting started, Nick, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's me. Hi. Basically, I'm gonna be doing this, but with the organization I work for.
Awesome. And I believe the last voice you'll hear will be the voice of the grumpy old Nord, a long time now Star Trek Online streamer who has streamed some of our episodes even. Nord?
Greetings and salutations. The counselor is in.
Counselor is in. We also have with us, as we often do, another friend of ours, a Foundry author once upon a time, Starfarer Theta, who has created an exocomp character named which has earned the name Oakley from the crew, and sometimes has we try our best to make sure that we mention what Oakley's doing and such, so that everybody knows what's going on with our favorite exocomp. And to get started, we're gonna we did kind of a bottle episode, just to kind of have some space for characters to grow a little bit last week. And one of the things that came up was that our executive officer wants to, at the time, which you'll understand in a few, at the time, our executive officer wanted to do a contraband sweep on the ship. And so we are going to start there. How do you want to go about doing this, Kendra?
So, what time of the day is it? Is it like morning?
You can do it whenever you want. This is happening a bit in the past. It's kind of like the end of last week's bottle episode is opening our story, and it's opening with Kendra giving the order, or however you're going to start the process of having a search for contraband done.
Kendra takes her comm badge. It's early morning. Everyone's just waking up except for the night shift. She calls Bryce.
Bryce answers. He says, "Security here, Commander. What can I do for you?" Or Bryce, if you need me specifically.
you specifically.
What's up?
I'm thinking about it, and I think we should run a contraband check on the ship. We've been to a lot of places, and I want to make sure there isn't anything dangerous on board.
He mentions the places you've been. He's like, Isa, Ibby, that space station, and he's like, sure, I'll get security teams on that. How quickly do you want it done, and how early do you want us to search?
I would like you to start immediately so that word doesn't get out and people don't start hiding things. And might as well do it now. Just also because it's, right before shift, stuff like that. Be very thorough. Obviously, respect people's personal space, but be thorough at the same time.
Got it, Commander. Let me make a roll for Bryce, everyone. Because Bryce now needs to make a roll for his security team, actually, to see if they
No success, no success, no success.
have one success. They're capable of being respectful while they do this. Bryce is, you don't know what happens down in security, Kendra, but you give that order, and we shift from Bryce in security calling for. He's like, so security team Delta and Alpha, please report down to, basically report to the security office. And then we pick up with two security officers standing outside of Chaplain Waitley's door. And Waitley, you are standing there. You've just gotten your uniform on, and you were preparing to go to the bridge. Alpha shift is in like 30 or 35 minutes is when you're supposed to be there, right? And you've got two security officers standing there telling you, we're very sorry, Chaplain, but word has come down from the command staff. We have to search everyone's quarters for contraband.
He blinks in confusion for a second, and he just does a quick summary glance in their heads to see if they're lying to him or not.
They don't appear to be lying. They have orders from Bryce, who has, that it can be assumed anyway that Bryce has orders from the command staff. They don't appear to be lying. And looking down the hallway, there are a couple of other groups of two officers that are standing at other people's quarters. In fact, he's probably 4 or 5 doors down, but you see Bryce at an officer's quarters, an engineer. You don't really recall their name exactly, but Bryce is there with a security officer. He is out doing this himself as well.
He nods.
It's just Waitley was the first one in my list. So
Waitley nods and says, I see. All I ask is that you respect the legal privacy of my patients. There is a cabinet locked. I will not be unlocking it for you. It contains all the records and logs of all the counseling sessions I hold.
Like, not a problem, Chaplain, and be here with us while we run the search. And the two of them step in, and if you recall, in Picard, Laris, one of his Romulan caretakers, has a crime scene recreator, holographic recreator, basically, right? And so the security guys just step in. They're literally like one step into your quarters. They don't like go in and like shake the place down or anything. They use a Starfleet imaging device that is on their it's a program on their tricorders. that simply images the room, and you can see it occur on their screen, an image of the room, and it points out likely places that something might be hidden. And they look at you, they show you the picture, and they say, we just need to check at that end table next to the bed, sir. And they show you where they're going to check and why they're going to check it. And of course, listed on their like imaging device, your cabinet of course is listed as a likely place that something could be hidden, but they're not going in there. So does Whately have anything to hide?
Not where they'd find it, no.
Right. So they check Whately's quarters, and it seems them like they have found nothing. What I was thinking, Nick, is that if in the 2399 era they had a device that his Romulan caretakers could have, in 11, 12 more years to the point we're at in STO, there's probably a military application that is very similar, and Starfleet is essentially military. Yeah, how would we roll for this? We don't have Baz here to give us like a game.
I looked into it. Security is the obvious skill to come in. For attributes, it would probably either be reason or insight. Probably reason. So probably reason security if you were trying to hide something.
Yes, if there is anything that you want to hide, you will need to make a reason security check. So when you say not where anybody could find it, it's possible that they do find it. You get to make a reason security check, and they get to make an insight security check. Does that make sense? Hiding it is reason, finding it is insight.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. Hope it generally makes sense. So roll. Let's see what Whately has. Do you have something that? First of all, is there anything Whately would want to hide?
Oh yes, he has plenty of stuff hidden in that cabinet. That's why I said not where they're looking.
Okay, so roll.
You're late now.
He's in security. 11 and 2. You have a 13.
Would this have any kind of modifier due to the fact that they're specifically not looking where it would be?
Yes. Call it a bonus on your. Call it as if you had a focus, so you crit on 2s. 2 and less, you crit on it.
So 2d20, 13, 2, correct?
Exclamation. Oh my god!
There's a point of momentum for us!
And
yes, there is indeed a point of momentum for you.
Whatever it is, Whately forgets it exists.
Right?
The funny thing is, the only way I could see how they would find it is if Whately had accidentally forgotten to lock the cabinet or close the cabinet, and while one of the other ones was distracting him, the other one looked, and yeah, that would have been an interesting scene had that happened.
Actually, my thought was if you failed, if there were no successes, what would happen is the report to the captain would include that that Chaplain Whately has a cabinet which is locked, which very likely, according to imaging data, may contain more than simply the records he says it does.
That would work too.
That would be then the security officers are like, not only did we do our job, but we didn't have to do our job. Also, yes, Quentin and Kendra, about 5 minutes after you make the call, there is a chime at your door. And the
Come in?
when answered, when you say come in, 2 security officers step in and say, Commander, Lieutenant Bryce has us assigned to image your quarters and look for any contraband.
Good. Proceed.
And they take out their, one of them takes out his tricorder, and again, this kind of like blue light just shines a little bit, takes a picture of your room, and they say, they find one spot they have to check. It's like there's a mineral inside. Did you guys? Yeah, I'm actually going to say probably of everyone on the ship, the married couple picked up a Horgon. That on Ryza, the Horgon. I don't imagine anyway that you guys have anything to hide. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I sort of do.
Okay, roll reason and security. Reason and security for Cast is, or for Quentin rather. I just called him Cast. First time I've done it. For Quentin, reason and security is 11 and 2 is 13. He got it. One success. Okay.
And actually, I will probably have to roll 2.
Oh no. Okay, roll reason and security, which for Kendra is you're hiding something after calling for the search. It's 10 and 4. You got a 14. Releasing by their own petards. All right, so you both got a success at hiding whatever you're trying to hide.
She also got a complication.
Now, and don't forget to actually roll their search.
Their search. They found something, but it wasn't going to be important. However, they do have the ability to search. Have 3 successes, and you guys have a complication. What are you trying to hide, Kendra?
I'm not necessarily trying to hide it, but I have some materials and, we'll just say materials that have to do with the paw wraiths from my time at the temple that I may have forgotten that I still have that I'm not technically supposed to have.
Okay, so it's like it's like an element that they that they detect in some of these materials, and one of them says, "Commander, can you open this? Can you open this drawer, please?" And it's like wherever it is that you have it, right? And they literally find your collection of like paw wraith artifacts, and one of them says, "Commander, you do realize that this particular element is illegal to keep aboard active Starfleet ships, correct?" And then you see him type. You see him typing in contraband type found, crew member Lieutenant Helenis Kendra, and you're like and it's like type of contraband, religious / superstitious, not superstitious, that's the wrong word. What would be the right word? Type of contraband, probably just religious. Type of contraband, religious cultural is what it would say. And what did they find in Quentin's stuff?
They would find a data chip that contains several replicator programs for, most specifically, caffeine supplement number 31, Dr. Pepper, that he's not supposed to technically have because his wife has put him on a restriction on the amount of caffeine he's allowed to intake in any given period of time, and he.
Well, it's the doctor. It's the doctor that specifically said he wasn't supposed to have it. So it's not contraband, but he's trying to hide it.
Record? Is it on record?
It would probably be part of my routine physical, yeah.
All right, then it's part of it. If it's part of your routine physical, then one of them says, "Chief, will be taking this," and they you see him pick up the chip, put it onto the side of his tricorder, looks at you like, "I'm keeping my mouth shut, Chief," and he's like, he tabs it in, puts it into the security. Basically, they have a little security box that they're carrying with him. Puts it into the security box, and you can see crew member Lieutenant Quentin Reynolds. Type of contraband. What would it be listed as? Type of contraband software. Because it is full of replicator programs, and they also make a note that technically it is not contraband. However, this officer has specific medical orders not to be. Yeah, and it's all right there in the report. This officer has specific medical orders not to be consuming caffeine, and so therefore, therefore that happens. Eli. Your door, you are awakened. Well, you're probably not awakened. You're probably getting ready to head for your shift in the morning. You're greeted by two security officers in the morning who tell you the same thing they're telling everybody, which is, there's we apologize for having to do this, doctor, but we're going to have to image your room and look for any contraband. The orders are coming from the command staff.
Image my room? I thought you were here to talk about that rash problem, I say loudly.
Out in the hallway, one of the other security officers who's talking to like an engineer laughs a little bit, and Bryce gets a smile on his face, one door down, and they're like, "Yeah, image the room," and they're like, "With your permission, doctor."
As you wish.
Take one step in and start to run that imaging program, and the question is, does Dr. O'Connor have anything to hide?
Oh, for sure.
And reason and security for you is 11. My God, that was pretty glorious. Their intuition.
I'm just starting to inhale.
I was just starting to inhale, man.
You can't drink during this show. You just can't.
Oh, goodness.
I'm drinking tea.
Okay. Ooh, 2 successes. Oh, no. It's 2d20, right? There we go, 2d.
Yep, just exclamation point.
Pumping a little bit.
No! Eli!
Wait!
For the record, it's hidden very well, but...
Wait. I'm just thinking, is there anything we can do?
I don't believe you can spend a momentum on other people's dice rolls.
I was going to say, I'd spend it on the security officers.
Right, they got 3 successes.
I know. Yeah, they did, but we can't interfere with the NPCs like that. The only way we could do this is a really stupid idea, which is to re-roll the 9 and see if we can get a 1, but it's a 1 in 20 shot.
Exactly.
No, this is the good outcome. I want to see this.
Okay.
So, what does Eli have to hide?
Romulan ale. But he's got I'll explain it once they find it.
It's really well hidden, too. It's not like, Dr. McCoy would be like, just check that cabinet right there. I don't think. Maybe Eli is just like, look, it's right in that cabinet, what you're looking for.
It's on his liquor bar over there.
It's on his liquor bar over there. They scan and image
blending it.
They scan and image the room, and one of them, the one that has the scanner, looks over at you, and like your room is like the scan is showing like this, like a blue like lines and like hologram display on a screen of what your room looks like, and it's just like this big like white Romulan ale shaped bottle like in the picture, and he looks over at you and he goes, "Even try to hide it, doctor?" And he goes, "No." On the bar, and the other officer walks over, picks up the Romulan ale, and they both look at you.
That, my friends, is legal Romulan ale. It is from the Vishitani colony within Federation space.
Second guy sets it back down on the bar. Checks the Vishatani colony in Federation space. Is it an Orion colony that produces, or Romulan colony that produces Romulan ale?
Nope, it was the Romulan relocation hub before Hobus blew. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know that it makes it legal in Federation space, but it does create an argument for it. That's what he says. I'm not quite sure that makes it particularly legal, Doctor, but it does create an argument for you to potentially get this back from the captain. And the first one adds to the chart: Officer, Lieutenant, Eli O'Connor, contraband type, alcohol. Actually, Romulan ale. Like, it has its whole own category of Romulan ale. It's Romulan ale.
Well, if you need that ointment, be sure to see me later.
They walk out and they're both just like, God, grumbling. They're like, so Kara, you have 2 security officers at your door as well.
And I share this room with Setsa, so this is a double.
This is indeed a double. And they're like, we apologize. And you can see in the hallway that you live in that they're doing this to more than just you. They're doing it to everybody. And they ask your permission to image your room and search for contraband.
Kara looks a little nervous. So like just contraband, right?
It's contraband, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I can't understand you with the vocoder.
I can't understand your voice at all.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I went too high with that one. So Setsa just cries out, "I've got nothing to hide."
I've got nothing to hide. I like it. I like. We're not trying to. We're not trying to bust you or anything. He's like, look, we're not trying to, bust you and throw you in the brig or anything, Lieutenant.
We are very good. We have nothing to hide, Kara.
Go for it, Kara. Basically, they're going to be super nice about it, but they're not going to take no for an answer in terms of will they search your room? They're going to. Because they have to. It was that's the orders that they got from the command staff.
Okay, we busted Eli, so now I kind of feel like, can I take a dive on this, or do I have to roll?
Have to roll.
Okay, let's see what happens.
If there's something you want to hide. Well, if there is
Didn't matter anyway.
You want to hide, they find it. What is it you want to hide that they find?
There's an unscannable box underneath Kara's bunk. It's small, but it's unscannable. It resists all tricorder scans.
Once that comes up in the imaging, the security officer with the tricorder says, Lieutenant Junrani, what is this?
Kara goes...
you get it out yourself.
Kara pulls it out and turns bright red. Nothing of importance. Just personal effects.
Unscannable, Lieutenant. Need to, at the very least, have a verbal confirmation of what's inside.
How about Lieutenant Elenis Kendra? Can I talk to her about it, maybe?
Commander Elenis is the one who initially... Commander Elenis is the member of the command staff who initially brought the contraband search to the security team.
Perfect, so I can talk to her and there'll be no problem.
I assure you, Lieutenant, there will not be a problem. Just tell us what's in the box.
Kendra taps her comm badge and says, Bryce?
Bryce is in ensign's quarters, and he goes, Commander, we haven't found anything bad yet. I mean, we found some minor bits of contraband. In fact, if the reports I'm seeing are correct, some of it comes from your quarters, and he's got a definite chuckle in his voice as he says that. Some of it comes from your quarters. So
Yeah, that was embarrassing. I didn't realize I had that, but hey, that's why we do these checks, just in case.
Right. What can I do for you, Commander?
I was just going to mention that if there are any situations where there's any privacy concerns or anyone's uncomfortable, you can always give me a call and I can come down and talk to whoever it is.
I'll pass that message along to the security officers.
All right. Thanks so much.
And about that time, before the message can really go out, Kara goes, fine. She opens the box for the security officers, standing between the box and Setsa at all times. The box contains some adult things, including photographs and, shall we say, toys.
Two security officers. One is not. He's not burly. He's more like a kind of like wiry, kind of muscly, shorter fellow. Probably some Asian heritage, but not like overwhelmingly so. And the other is a Bolian, a female Bolian. And they both look at the box. Female Bolian reaches over, closes the box, and says, "Oh, we have found no contraband in the quarters of Kara Junai, and have a nice day, Lieutenant."
What about Setsa?
Yeah, you didn't scan Setsa yet.
Does Setsa have anything to hide?
Yes. I mean, she was trying to act super evasive there.
Right, so one success, and they got one success.
Roll off?
Yeah, roll off. Try it one more time. Why not? That works. And that time, whatever Setsa was trying for the security officers not to find, they do not find. Everybody else begins to begin their day after being, searched by security officers.
What about Marcus?
Yeah. You didn't
I was about to get to the captain. As everybody else, like the security check begins to dim down on everybody else, we come up on the captain's doorway, where there's one security officer standing there, and she's got her arms crossed and her kind of like head her head antenna that are all the way. Basically, Larissa is standing at the captain's door, and her head antenna are up, and her arms are crossed, and she goes, "Captain, I'm here to search your room for contraband. I know this is very odd. The order does come from the command staff, which means it comes from you. Bryce asked me to handle this personally."
So Marcus, this isn't his first contraband search. It's like he just says, "Yep, right on. Do you want me to stand outside the room? Be outside the room? How do you prefer to do that?"
Stand right next to me, Captain. And you, as the captain, you don't get to play often or see the latest security toys that Bryce's people get to play with. So you may know that it exists, but this may be the first time you're seeing that room-sized image scanner that they have in their tricorders, where he just takes it and waves it in front of his face, and suddenly a holographic projection of your room is on the screen, and he's able to look at places where you might have, or Larissa is able to look at places she can see where things might be hidden. And the question is, does Captain Graves have anything to hide?
Yes, and there's 2 layers of this thing.
That's awesome.
So I'll say if you beat me by 1 success, you find the first thing. If you beat me by 2 successes, or if I get a complication, you find both things.
I think that totally works. That totally makes sense to me. Okay. Here we go. I love that my numbers have not changed. Every security team has, including Larissa, has the same. Oh, I keep putting roll in front of it. Same numbers. Yeah, Larissa does not find what the captain may be hiding. She scans through your room, and you get the feeling that yeah, all right, roll off.
Yeah. Quentin's saying roll off.
I like roll off. I like that, seeing that in the chat. You get the feeling that she's taking longer to scan than maybe normally, because it's like you think that she has an idea that you're hiding something just from looking at the scan, and then she finds something. What does she find?
What she finds tucked in basically secret compartment in the dresser is a bandolier.
Is there anything in the bandolier?
Well, there's just a standard phaser from what you found there, but it does come with a on sort of the backside, etched into the leather. There is a little note saying, "From Captain Alphonse A. Ross to Marcus Graves."
Okay. She goes over to your dresser, looks over at you, and then scans the dresser specifically, looks at it, closes her tricorder up, walks back over to where you're standing near the door, and she goes, "Captain?"
Yes.
Guy. Just goes, "I really hate that guy. Have a good day, sir." She walks out.
I gotta get a gif of what he was.
Obviously, what she just did is she found a bandolier, and she probably scanned where it says from Alphonse A. Ross, and that's why she walks out being like, "We hate that guy." And we see then the crew gathering onto the deck of the command deck of the ship, taking their positions as Reliant warps away into outer space and into the words 2 months later. Reliant warps out of space, and around you is a thick asteroid field. Your scans have detected. Now, in the last 2 months, just to give you the quickest catch up possible, you have been back in your normal patrol zone. And in the normal patrol zone, you have had boring adventures. You've been cataloging, Quentin probably has loved the last 2 months. You've been cataloging gaseous anomalies. You've been scanning parts per, particles per million, et cetera, of like certain things. And right now you are in an asteroid belt, which seems to have been created by the destruction of a nearby moon. The planet that the moon was orbiting has some numerical designation like M357-1b. It does not have a name. It's never been, in exploration, where you are, the current number is, the current discovery number is what you're assigning it until you figure out what it's called or anything. And the planet appears to have suffered a huge ecological disaster. Though it looks like before the disaster, it was not even an M-class planet. It was one of those planets that is too hot, just slightly too hot, however, to support life. Trying to remember what the classification for that planet is. I want to say L or K, but I'm probably wrong.
Let's go with K.
Sure, it's a K
What was
class.
the name of this?
Is it like Vulcan?
Kind of like Vulcan, but a little hotter. Like it couldn't even support Vulcan life. I don't know. I can't remember what class, but regardless, that's what the nearby planet is like. And there is an asteroid field which is caught in decaying orbit around this planet. A slow decaying orbit because the planet is not producing a huge amount of not producing a huge amount of gravity, but it is producing enough that the asteroid field, which is not, it's a packed asteroid field, and it's kind of almost a ring around the planet, but there's not enough of the field to make a full ring. And you're currently basically studying what caused the destruction of the moon, and you have you have a starting this part of the game with a pre-made science check. You already made this roll, Quentin, because this is the information I want you to start with. It seems that there is the largest of the asteroids is made of a different mineral composition than the rest of the asteroid field, and your current working theory is that the moon was struck by an asteroid that was large enough to crack the moon into pieces. And that once that happened, tide shifted, weather shifted, everything on the planet beneath went into a state of absolute, climactic or climate disaster once their moon disappeared. So that is what happened, and that is what you're currently looking at. It is a class L. It is a marginal planet, limited to plant life, suitable for humanoid colonization. So you have found a planet that is suitable for colonization once upon a time, but right now is in the throes of an ecological disaster caused by the destruction of their moon, and that will likely continue for decades, if not hundreds of years. So what was once a marginal planet that you picked up, you've now got this information, and people are at their regular stations aboard the ship. And anyone who has scanners, essentially, at their console can make what would be the right kind of roll? Can make, we'll call it insight security roll. Anybody who is actively using scanners when you get into a new system, make an insight security roll. I just made one for Larissa. Does not generate momentum, but does give you Larissa succeeding. Name of the planet is give me a good 5-number sequence. M83. A good 5-number sequence. Let me see. M83 83752. And this is categorized as planet D in orbiting the M83752 star. So the fourth planet from that star. I wrote that down, and we can add it to game notes later so that we, have the actual notes of where you are. All my mind thought of there was the old exploration cluster missions where you would go find planet, whatever.
Oh, it totally sounds like how we name planets today. But I still have this idea that Kara, looking bored at her console, is like, who names these things? Who the hell remembers the planet names of M83742D?
Mm-hmm. And in fact, what's funny is your ship named this planet. When you arrived, the Reliance databases immediately saw that in the list of planets being discovered or star systems being discovered, this is to be called M83752. Fourth planet categorizes it D because they've never found a system with 26 planets. So, stellar cartographers get their underclothes in a state over such things. Nice. Oh, and cool. Now there's a location. That's awesome. Subject to climate disaster. That's awesome. Thank you, Duncan. Well, regardless, that is the state that you all begin the game in. You have been doing missions like this for the last couple of months. And the something that you all heard in the academy, probably, every once in a while you get reminded of this thing that you heard in the what you heard in the academy is most of the time space is very big and empty. Moments of excitement and adventure that are promised in like the recruiting posters and all are do exist, but they exist at few and far between. Now, oh, that's beautiful. One success, two success. All right. So while you're Quentin, your scans are focused mostly in this asteroid belt, and the fact that one of the chunks of rock in here is made of something different, just has a different mineral composition, as in, it was an asteroid that was created somewhere else and came hurtling through space until it hit this moon by sheer luck. And that's where your one success comes in. It doesn't offer you any new information, sadly, but does offer you the information that would be incredibly difficult to you almost have a C3PO moment. It would be incredibly difficult for anyone to pilot or master their way through an asteroid field that is so thickly brought together by gravity. Lennis, you're just keeping up with all of the scans that are happening out there, and it's a very calm moment on the bridge when Larissa, from her position at tactical behind the command circle, says, "Captain, I am." What is it? Isn't it? Is it tachyonic? Or what is it when there are cloaked ships about? Tachyon emissions.
Tachyon emissions.
Yes, it is tachyon emissions. She says, "Captain, I am picking up tachyon emissions, numerous tachyon emissions. By numerous, I mean 4 in the nearby asteroid belt." And once she points it out and sends you the information of where she sees it, you're like, oh, yes, there really is tachyon emissions in the asteroid belt. They're small, though. They're not big enough like they would be disguising a ship or something. They're small tachyon pockets of tachyon emissions within the asteroid belt. I will allow you guys to roleplay with all the information you have now.
Well, there you go, Quentin. These asteroids are especially sciencey. Somehow.
Indeed. Captain, permission to launch a Class 5 probe in the direction of the disturbances?
Permission granted.
Yeah, I'm on it. Kara sends out the probe since she has the necessary probe launching controls at her station.
Class 5 probe hurtles toward the nearby asteroid field. And Quentin, you may make another scanning roll. However, I'm going to say, since you're using a class 5 probe, I don't know the actual rule, but I'm going to give you one free success.
And I get to include the ship in that, or is the free
Yes, you
success?
do. Let me roll a dice for the ship. You get one free success. Get to include the ship, and then you get to include yourself. So you have 2 successes already going into the roll. Class 5 probe kind of thing that, makes matters a lot easier.
Science insight, so I'll call it 14. Oh!
Doesn't matter, man. That's still 3 successes, which is going to build you a momentum. And
but then the complication in the probe somehow like 200 or something.
I've definitely got the complication. I'm like I can see in my mind exactly what happens. So the probe launches and begins to get closer to where the tachyon emissions are coming from, and begins to give you more data. And that data indicates there are indeed, specifically in that area of the asteroid belt, there are 4 tachyon emissions which appear to be hiding fighter-sized ships. The probe is able to determine that there are a number of ships that are not warp capable generally, which could fit under a cloaking device being powered with the amount that you're detecting. And at that moment, an asteroid comes flying by and smashes your probe. Just bam! And your probe is destroyed.
Now I got it. Kara starts writing the report to the engineering team.
Damn it. But yeah, that's the complication. The complication was that just as you begin to get the information that there are a number of ships, generally non-warp capable fighter ships, that could be hidden by that amount of tachyon emissions with a proper cloaking device, and then just kabam, and the probe is gone. Boom. It's just gone. So that's the information that you get, and just as the probe goes kabam on your screen, Larissa says, "Captain, being hailed."
On screen.
Kara sits up, bothers to look professional.
Your on-screen switches from looking at the asteroid belt and where the tachyon emissions are to looking at what appears to be there's more red lights in with the metal that are behind this person. You can see the movements about behind and around them that make them look that make it look like they're on a starship somewhere. They don't. It's a I want to call it a larger bridge, but not. It's not too large of a large bridge. And okay, cool. I remember where the picture is now. So like I said, not too large of a large bridge, but a larger bridge. And the person who is on screen, you have all encountered before. In fact, Kendra, I'm sad I didn't get to tell you what you know about them, but the person on your screen is an Orion woman with dark hair. I've realized since they're triplets, they all look like Claire Danes. But one has dark hair.
Problem with this?
One has dark hair, one has blonde hair, and one has a reddish color hair. The Orion on screen is the one that you spent a few hours with, Kendra, and she is, to your knowledge, she is diplomatic, a skilled investigator, and
Okay, which amatic was that? Because the beginning cut off, and it could have been phlegmatic, dramatic.
oh, she is
Diplomatic was what you said.
diplomatic. Yes,
Phlegmatic.
she is.
Okay.
She is diplomatic. She is skilled and a good investigator. She seemed to command the loyalty of the person that was with the two of you on your planet of Oompa Loompas when you went there, but not because the person didn't seem scared of her. He seemed respectful of her command. So of the three you have encountered in the past, she has been the most helpful / not antagonistic in any way, except for the fact that when you met her, you guys like dropped their shields and their shields were down, and so you just beamed them into your ship. If I remember correctly.
I bet they've raised their shields by now if they can.
You notice from the other side of the planet, from the shadow of where your sensors can detect, a large, you've seen her ship before, it is a Slave Master battleship, come from behind the shadow of the planet. And so basically what you see is this ship that first appears in shadow as it comes around the planet, and then begins to be lit by the star that is far behind you. So as it's emerging, it appears to be like a ship that is all in shadow suddenly becoming real as they are obviously making themselves seen. And she goes, Captain Graves. I would not have expected to see you out here. What exactly is Starfleet looking for in a silly little broken world like this? Anyone who is capable of reading people may make an attempt to see what she's doing.
Graves generally isn't, but he's going to try anyway. So it's going to be an insight security.
I was thinking, you've got your very own Deanna Troi on the ship, so except
that
he's cooler than
Graves
Deanna
is still.
Troi.
Oh yeah. Wait, yeah, we've got the better arrangement here. So I'm still going to make. We do also have the other one, but secret weapon.
It will be instinct.
Okay, so
I want to do a car with this because she's bad at reading people, but her stats are actually good.
Insight and command.
Yeah, I'd say
insight and command is 12.
I get an additional point. Okay.
Yeah, wait, Eli, are you gonna roll?
He's probably
on the bridge right now.
That's up to him. He has a bridge station he's used before.
He also is an empath.
Yeah.
You know what?
You can have
Eli
two empaths.
Comes to the bridge conveniently. He just comes up to the bridge conveniently. What's going on? Oh, hello there.
He was, yes. Eli and
I want to roll two just
can make my powers work check on them. What?
I want to do a roll 2 just because I've had previous interaction with her, but I don't know what my number is.
I'll look it up for you. Insight security for Alenis Kendra is probably pretty good. It is.
So what's
14. Eli's is 9 or insight command rather. Eli's is 14 as well. Kendra's is 14 and Marcus is 7 and 5, 12. And Waitley, if he wants to roll, is 11 and 4, 15. Waitley has the big number here.
I've got 1 success. Car's got 2. Eli, none. Kendra's got 2.
What'd you say the number for me was again?
15. You got the big number here.
Woohoo!
Whately's immediately like, I see what you're doing there.
So the two of you who have 1 success, that is Kendra and... Wait, I see 1 success. Is that Kendra and... no, Kendra has 2. Only Marcus has 1 success.
So yeah.
One success equals Graves. You are certain she is not telling you the whole truth, or is not intending to tell you the whole truth. 2 successes for Kara. You are certain of what Marcus is certain of, that she has no intention of telling you the whole truth, but you believe that she is attempting, that she spoke first and probably hailed because she wants to lead the conversation away from a certain topic. Kendra, she is being, because you've worked with her before and have 2 successes, she is being diplomatically dishonest. She's going to be super nice, and she's probably going to lie a lot. This is the first moment when probably Kendra, you're still sitting down, right? In your seat on the bridge?
No, I was actually standing at my station because my back hurts.
Okay, so this is the first moment that the audience sees that Kendra is actually very pregnant at this point. She, as the camera pans around her station, we can see that the first officer is very pregnant at this point. With 2 months having passed, yeah, it's definitely you're showing, and as far as you know, you're probably going to have the baby soon. Dr. O'Connor, you know this too. And the question I have for you, Mr. Whately, is: were you reading her mind?
There's a bear shit in the woods.
Okay, so you were reading her mind, not just getting a feeling of her. That's the question: are you just trying to get a feeling, or are you trying to? Eli,
he is full on mentally probing.
You just can't get a read from her. Nord, she is distinctly thinking that she's going to what she wants to do is not let you know that she's been following you.
Can I get an idea for how long?
Many days. She's not thinking in specific terms of how long has it been. It's been many days.
Okay.
That's it. Kara's going to start doing Crazy Ivans now.
All right. Whately is going to tap a little text message to Graves in that little side pad that's on the armrest of his chair, and inform the captain that she is trying to hide the fact she has been following us for a number of days.
And Kendra doesn't send a message or anything, but she tries to catch Graves' eye, and she kind of gives him this raised eyebrow, sideways eye glance, like, don't believe what she's saying.
Kara, just because this is funny and I'm probably going to get disciplined again, she leans forward with one elbow on her console, makes her best lovey eyes at the Orion, and says, "Oh, we're just exploring the unknown. What are you doing out here, sweetheart? Where have you been all my life?"
Marcus has the biggest facepalm right now, just of yeah, I can handle this. So he just puts a hand gesturing to Kara, I am the captain here. And he sort of he gets up, does the Picard maneuver, just buying himself a little bit of time, and then says simply to the Orion, well, we're Starfleet. This is an unexplored piece of rock. We are, of course, going to take a very careful interest in it. Again, we are Starfleet.
Right, that whole explore strange new worlds and
Yeah, it's kind of our bit.
Yeah.
Like-
So I see. So what are we doing out here now? That is a question. There are many interests at stake in this sector, Captain, as I'm sure you are well aware. After all, you are known among. She turns to her right and says, Davin, what do the Imperial officers call him now? And you hear a male voice off to the side go, huh, hero of Karat. Yes, the Imperial officers call you the hero of Karat for delivering the system to you. So as you are well aware, out here, so close to the neutral zone, there are many disputed and unexplored territories that the Empire may be able to use, and perhaps the Syndicate has agreed to scout some of these areas for them.
You want to help us look around the rocks?
Sure.
And Marcus just has this like amazing, just enthusiastic, kind of almost like shit-eating grin of like, hey, you want to help us look around the rocks here?
He says, sure. Adavar, just send them what information we've been able to glean on the nearby area. The planet is quite uninhabitable, probably for generations to come. Sadly. You could perhaps the Imperials will find some reason to turn it into a labor camp or something, but mostly our scans here are done. But this is what we've discovered, and they send an information packet. It's coming to your ship. Quentin and or Larissa have option to receive.
I will receive it into a secondary buffer that is.
I was waiting for someone to say that. Go ahead and make a scan and see if you detect any bad stuffs in the. I was wondering if anybody would say, "I'm not gonna just take it."
I was gonna say it, but I know in carrot like Marcus.
He's in science, which is 15 for you.
Oh, it helps if I get back to the right tab. There we go.
One success and 2 were needed. Seems clean.
Momentum.
Actually, what about the ship too?
Oh, true. Let's give the ship a roll.
That's true. And Oakley did complete those upgrades, didn't he?
Yes.
Is this an engineering role?
No.
Okay.
One. Damn it! Damn it!
So, totally clueless, but the ship just automatically picks this up. Like, wait a minute.
As soon as it hits the secondary buffer, you can read 2 things. One, it is indeed a package of information regarding the asteroid belt and nearby planet. It seems to be actually a very full picture, as if they've had a little bit of time to scan here. Much like you, they've probably had a day, or they have information that you do. It's a lot of it they scanned. But there also is embedded in the program a virus, a worm sort of program, which would begin shutting down very, very minor systems. It would start with the sub-processing system of the sub-processor of the diplomat on deck 20 or something. It would start in the most innocuous place possible and begin eating your computer from the inside out. So yeah, you detect both of those things as soon as it hits your secondary buffer, and she's got a smile on her face. So
And Marcus is just gonna sort of yeah. So we've got the situation under control, correct? The computer's picked it up. We're not gonna get hit. Okay.
you're not going to get
Is Marcus aware of what just happened?
Quentin is aware what just happened. Quentin's the only one aware.
But Marcus doesn't know yet. So he's just going to keep going with the default, like, okay, if something happened, the crew have picked it up. He's just going to continue, it's like smiling and nodding, like, yeah, thank you so much for your help again. We are so interested in
Seems
just
like
looking around.
seems like every time we meet, we can do nothing but help each other, Captain Graves.
Yeah, we're very helpful people. And I know you try to be so very helpful as well.
I do.
Hey, pass on our
We should form a geology.
thanks to those Gorn, by the way.
Oh, they're actually working directly with the hegemony again. They are dispatched into the Alpha Quadrant. Last I knew.
Oh man.
And I would text the command consoles that she tried to play us.
Yeah, and Graves is just like, yep, I knew it, because she's Orion. She's been following us. Of course, he's trying to play us right now. So he's on the sort of the Sam Vimes train of belligerently stupid Starfleet captain. Of just like going through it. It's like, with all this cooperation, we should form a geology institute. You know what? Just scan rocks all the time, every day. Both our ships. What do you say?
I would find that terribly boring. There are in this sector alone, Captain, there are far too many unique opportunities for women like me and my sisters who work at a bit of a more mercenary basis than some official representative of the Klingon government, whatever that is. They're at war.
So Marcus,
they're at war. Marcus, they want more territory. I am pleased to scout that territory for them.
So you're working in agriculture.
Yes, call it agriculture.
Pipes up. Oh, do tell your sweet little niece that I said hi, by the way.
Of course.
Can we pick up on, I think, the tone of voice she did when she said, of course?
Anybody can, since you just did as a human being. She says, with everything being what it is, Captain, I suppose I should leave you to your work, seeing that you are the great explorers of Starfleet. I hope you don't end up in each other's way at all. She has a look on her face. Has a look on her face. And Waitley, you're still able to read what rest of you can get like a sense of what she means when what she's really thinking when she says, I hope we don't get in each other's way. Waitley, you can see that that's what she's saying out loud. And there is a part of her that truly believes that believes, I hope we don't have to get in each other's way. And there's another part of her that is really hoping to get in your way, or that you get in hers.
Waitley glances.
And so she's like,
oh, go ahead.
She's like, I really hope we don't get in each other's way. Sits back as if she's getting comfortable, and you can hear the sounds on their bridge of they're getting ready to spool up and warp out.
So Waitley glance. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that you saw what I just wrote in chat for you.
I did. I was about to address it.
Okay.
Any parting gifts you can leave them.
So Waitley,
please do what I want you to do. Please do what I want you to do.
Do it. Do it.
So Whately
Now Nord is like, what does he want to do?
Whately glances at Graves and gives a slight wry chuckle. And before they cut the screen and everything, Whately is going to attempt something he hasn't really tried before. Whately is going to attempt to plant a ingrained mental suggestion that in about 20 minutes or so, she uncontrollably has to urinate.
Oh, okay. So you are kind of doing what I wanted you to. You may make a presence and command check, which gives you a 14. Because you have done this before, this specific thing before, although affecting one mind is different than affecting, like, what was it, 10 minds last time? You can make the roll is a 14, and you have one success already because you've done something very similar.
So 2 successes.
2 successes. Don't know if that's enough, but you do know that you planted something in her mind as she says something. She says something to the effect of, she says, "And I hope we never get in each other's way." Greatly plants that in her mind, and she moves her hand from left to right, and the screen just goes back to your normal view screen, and you see the Slave Master battleship. You can see that they kind of angle. They never stopped moving. They kind of came from behind the planet, remained very slow. Now they angle up past you, and the size of that Slave Master battle, it's one of those meant to evoke the same sort of feeling as as the first time you see an Imperial Star Destroyer kind of feeling. As the Reliant is not a big ship, all things considered. It's a Miranda class, right? Essentially, in terms of size, it's not a huge vessel. The Slave Master battleship is indeed a dreadnought, like big warship, and as it goes. Just for the visual of what it would look like in universe, seeing how big her ship is compared to the Reliant as they make their distance and engage warp. And they do that, and her battleship goes sailing off. You are still detecting tachyon pulses and emissions in the asteroid field.
So Marcus is of the opinion that there could be a military offensive going on in this area or close by it. So his idea is, oh crap, we should probably get out of here. Because picking up residual tachyon emissions, that's like, okay, that could be a ship or an entire fleet. And if we do, and that was probably a nice warning, like, all else considered, for maybe we shouldn't go kill ourselves. But he's going to check with the crew first.
I like that. I like that.
So
what are these residual tachyon emissions? Why are they there? And why was she hiding on the other side of the planet and been following us for days?
Yeah, so he's going to look to Whately first and just say, do you pick up anything from the asteroid field?
That's a good question, GM. Does Whately pick up anything from the asteroid field beyond the ship we know is there?
Damn it, mother. Damn it, you mother. Whately, you may roll an insight. Let me see. Did I open Whately? No, I accidentally opened Quentin. There's Whately. You may roll an insight and command, which for you is 15. Son of a whore.
And quick question. We didn't spend that momentum earlier, did we?
No, we didn't. We still got momentum.
I have 2 momentum currently.
All right. With everyone's permission, I would like to use one of those points of momentum on this roll.
Go for it. It'll make
Go for
Hippie
it.
yell more.
It'll make Hippie say "mother bitches" again.
All right, so
Wait,
I've been yelling
can
it in chat for
Eli-
different
wait.
reasons.
Can Waitley have Eli assist in this telepathic search?
Yes, he can. Eli, that is a good point. That is something that you guys have never tried, and I would totally allow.
ooh,
It would be like a weird mind meld where neither of you are Vulcans.
I'm scared. I don't want to know what goes on in his mind.
You wouldn't be knowing what goes on in his mind. You would simply be picking up empathic strength from your abilities as an empath, which would allow him to focus. It basically lets you roll a die and assist him.
Okay.
Unless he complicates. Then
It allows you to roll one die to assist him, using the same numbers, which are what are they? What did I just say? Insight and command.
Yep.
So yeah, for you it's 14, Eli, and for Waitley it's 15. Those are your numbers. You cannot use the ship.
We need to get psionic inhibitors or something. installed in the ship. Ooh, we just got that point of momentum back.
Oh, no, you
Did
didn't.
you use the momentum yet?
Yes,
Nick
I
is
did.
only supposed to roll one die. Nick was only
Oh, I
supposed to roll
thought
one die.
you said. Sorry.
It's okay
I thought you
because
said
you
that
rolled
Both
two
dice
dice.
are exactly the same, so removing one is easy.
Exactly. The raw result was a 3 and a 3. So you take away 1 3, you still have a success. So you have a success. Wheatley has a success. That
Plus the
gives you
momentum.
2 successes. Plus having spent a momentum. You
That's 3 successes.
no, the momentum die gives Waitley another dice to roll.
Oh,
Sorry.
so
Which he didn't do.
He just rolled 2 though.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it gave an automatic success.
So you
Hold
may-
on.
When you spend it like that, it gives you another dice to roll.
So that's 4
Which is-
successes.
in this case, yes, you do gain it back. So for this number of successes, there are 4 beings in the there are 4 Orions in the asteroid field. They are all pilots, and they are all currently in their fighter ships, and they feel super safe because they're cloaked.
I'm gonna
That
pull a
should give you
Waitley.
pause alone. The Orions don't have cloaking devices to the best of your.
I'm gonna pull a Waitley here. Waitley doesn't say anything. He's just going to send out a mental command for all of them to drop their cloak. Like basically the same thing. Instead of making them pee, they're just gonna get this idea. Oh, we're safe to drop our cloak now.
Okay. Let's see. All right. You will be rolling a presence and command, which for you is a 14, Waitley. Okay, we'll be rolling.
And since we got that point of momentum
Not
back,
on a 14.
I'm going to use it.
Right ahead.
Three successes.
You're going to get the momentum back, and come on, big money, big prizes.
20, 20, 20, 20.
Not big
Rafflecopter.
money, nor
A complication
Not
would have been
big money.
hilarious.
big prizes, but fortunately, they are all intelligent pilots. At the same moment, all of your sensors pick it up, and you guys can see it on the main screen as 4 of those small Orion fighter corvettes decloak right where all of those 4 tachyon emissions were.
As that happens,
They're
I just wanted to say, as that happens, Waitley just looks at Graves for making the suggestion and says nothing. He just does a Vanna White type gesture.
Which is somewhat sinister when I imagine Waitley doing it. It's almost like Vincent Price doing it.
I have the same.
So
feeling.
Marcus immediately says, At this, red alert, target each one of them, prepare to fire.
Red alert, target each one, prepare to fire, and 4 Orion fighter craft.
And he also tries to open comms at the same time, too.
They open short range warp jumps. You could easily catch them, but they're all are headed in the same position. They obviously have small warp capable engines, but they're moving warp 1.7. As they jump
Marcus
out
at this point says, those are probably attached to a carrier. We got to leave now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if ordered to follow, Kara would have basically done the Mad Max thing of, that's bait.
Yeah. So he's like,
Captain.
yeah, so set a course. Okay, so with Reliant's position right now, are we close to any star bases or other starships?
Closest star base is Epsilon 10, which is your home, your home star base for this sector. And that is, you could make it there fairly easily.
Okay, let's go there.
You go into warp, you can make it back home super easily. And so Reliant enters warp. And, wow, I made a sound effect. It didn't sound terrible in my brain. Probably did, though. But Reliant goes into warp. We see the warp trails behind, and you are now en route to Starbase Epsilon 10. Are there any things that people want to look for or see if they can find out, or you have comm channels available to you in the little bit of time that it will take?
Marcus is going to order either engineering or science to look at the code that we had just gotten from the Orions to see if there's any signs of known intelligence agencies, like the Klingons or the Romulans in particular, for whether or not this matches some of their espionage tech.
Question.
Matches syndicate tech. That's the security. Bryce will be able to give you that information. Like, as you're asking the question, he could be like, "This is high level. Like, this computer virus is high security, high level syndicate work. This isn't." He's like, nothing that reminds me of old Tal Shiar or Obsidian Order. Nothing like that.
So,
but he would say it seems very much.
Hold on! Someone has joined.
What? That sounds crazy. Who would join this?
Oh, hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good, I think. So far we are. I can't even tell how long into the episode we are, but the bridge crew has just received. They've just received a bunch of information because they made some good rolls. Orion, who they encountered once before, they call it the planet of Oompa Loompas, and I can't. They're not wrong, because when I described the aliens, I said they were like short, halfling-sized humanoid people with very orange skin, and I didn't even realize I was describing Oompa Loompas. So it was Spectre the gun, the episode where it's like the Klingons and the Federation are both trying to who it's arming a side of a conflict, and in this case it was about trying to for the Syndicate and Gorn hegemony ships that were there. It was about trying to expose an Undine infiltrator. And it was the first moment that this crew becomes aware of, like, how during the Stowe story, the Undine are infiltrating. It was the first time that they saw an Undine trying to put themselves in the path of a place that the Empire is about to expand to, so that they could go from being an important person on this planet to eventually moving up into the Empire, a seat in the Empire somewhere. You can very easily slip into a role that we have simply called Chief, because we've been like, Mike will give him a name someday. Chief of Operations for the day shift is a Starfleet Klingon who who, what we know is that when the war broke out, he refused to leave Starfleet Academy. He graduated with these people in 2409. And from the exchange officer that they have, they are aware that it's not Spectre of the Gun. Thank you, Cast. Private Little War. That they know from a Gorn exchange officer who works. They don't see him much. He works lower decks mostly, but they know from him that Chief has been discommendated by he's faced discommendation by the Empire for refusing to leave Starfleet.
Okay.
We don't have a name for him besides Chief, and his personality is that he's like third in line to take over the ship and says things like, "Yes, Captain."
I'm sure I can expand on that.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
I need to take like 2 minutes to go grab myself some water. This is like a perfect moment. People need to take just a minute. Welcome, Mike. I just need to grab water. I've been talking for a little bit here.
Okay, cool. Is there? Are we streaming or just recording?
Just recording.
Okay. Just recording tonight.
Cool.
Yeah, I figure we do a stream when we have the big Karn Lieutenant Tardigrade reunion.
Sounds great.
Be right back.
Yeah, so as just sort of the general recap of what just happened, we had an encounter with the Orions. They gave us basically a set of veiled threats, and then we detected 4 cloaked Orion fighters.
Okay.
That thanks to our counselor and his telepathic abilities, we got them to drop their cloaks. We're kind of OP with that. So they then skedaddled with their small ships that really don't have very short range. So we have decided to skedaddle back to our starbase because we're pretty sure there's like an offensive in order.
Got it. Okay.
And Kara will have an important observation to make when we get back and have time.
In the meantime, I can switch to Lieutenant Tardigrade voice.
That's excellent.
Yeah, when are we gonna get Karn back so we can be reunited with our Lieutenant Tardy? We miss him.
Well, I mean, it takes planning and story, and we've had delays.
Not too many of those were on my end.
You're a busy man.
Oh, no, it was all on us.
Okay.
You remember he came and stole cheesecake.
Oh yeah. Last episode, he just spore jumped onto onto Reliant to steal cheesecake, and then spore jumped right off.
As far as a character sheet, Eli, I say we'll just go with common numbers for operations officers, rather than take the time to, unless somebody wants to make up a character sheet while we play. We can very much just go with, like, a lot of times when I want to see what Larissa's numbers might be like, for example, I'll go look at Kendra's sheet. Kendra was originally a security officer, kind of.
Yeah, I don't mind, because I don't really know that well how to put together a sheet, so I don't mind, yeah.
Our guy who is very good at that isn't here this week.
Okay.
So we are the ship has they tell you that they had just gone to warp because they're like, hey, little ships like that are attached to bigger ships and we should leave, and so they left. And they set a course for home base, which is Epsilon 10. The sector that they're exploring is the sector that's out beyond starbase that was destroyed by V'ger in the motion picture, which was known as Starbase Epsilon. So this is the 10th Epsilon 9, I think it was, and so this is Station Epsilon 10 out on the edge of explored space.
Got it.
Where V'ger came from. It lets them do the explore the unexplored kind of thing. So
nice.
But yes, you are all currently at your positions, leaving everyone on the bridge as the captain has just ordered the ship to go to warp.
So I have a question to all assembled. Kara waits, and when nobody says anything, continues. That was a slave master battleship, along with 4 fighters, probably attached to some sort of carrier. Why didn't she just open fire and destroy us?
Perhaps they were intimidated by our... No, that doesn't make any sense.
I like that.
Yeah, Marcus basically has the same idea, and it says it's an Orion fleet, no signs of KDF tech. Could be they're making a push against the Klingons, but there was a little bit of a spoiling for our fight in that Orion. So, for what we've got out of this, we know something's afoot. It's going to be dangerous. And it's right in between the Klingons and the Federation. However that goes, that's probably not going to be good.
I guess in the end, sir, my main question is not everything that led up to this. Oh, we had a little talk, we left and everything. I agree with our current course of action. But again, she had the advantage of surprise, numbers, and firepower. Why didn't she just attack?
Back at the tactical station, Larissa says, maybe all 3 of them don't hate us.
That's a possibility. This wasn't the Orion that tried to frame me for murder, so I would say... Yeah, that might be a point, but the other point could be maneuvering us into a situation that gets them more out of this.
So I have,
for example, if we...
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to interject, but I didn't want to interrupt. That point where you said maybe she doesn't hate us. I have a funny aside that I really want to throw in at that point. At that moment, there is a little beeping at Waitley Station. He looks down, his eyes go wide, and he goes, well, they might not have before, but they probably do now.
What happened?
She may have had...
Marissa chuckles at her station.
That she was not quite able to make it to the head in time. And he grins.
Oh dear.
As an out of character note, this is a psychic attack that Waitley has used previously in the campaign, so it was especially funny for him to do it to her as well.
Especially with the captain, we got a data virus from this innocent survey data they sent us. So Marcus messaged Waitley saying, "Is there anything we can do to leave him a surprise? Parting gift, something like that." So yeah, Captain kind of pushed for that.
Got it. Even though they hadn't attacked us.
No, but it's vaguely known. They tried to take out our computer systems.
Okay,
I mean, we got to do something.
It's like, they took a computer virus. People on the ship who could potentially receive the information as you draw closer to Epsilon 10, one of the things that would happen is as you pass a certain subspace relay or relays, your immediate information would begin to update. And if I go look at the drive, our wonderful pieces of information, the USS Athens is currently being dispatched to the Federation side of the neutral zone in this sector of space that the Second Exploration Fleet explores. The Athens, which is a Nebula class, and Galileo, which is the flagship, the Galaxy class, are being rerouted to Federation side of the neutral zone, but here in this sector of space, which is galactically south of where the neutral zone ends. And the reports that are coming back are that indeed a what appears to be a small to medium size Klingon occupation fleet is moving out of the neutral zone and into this sector of space. Was the two people being operations chief and Larissa, who immediately basically sends a ping down to you, Mike, at the operation station to be verify this. Can we verify this is really happening? And so you can make a roll to, if you don't trust, if for some reason you decide not to trust the information coming over the subspace channel, you could make a roll, but you don't have to. From everything you can see, it is entirely accurate. There is a Klingon fleet moving into the sector that you currently patrol.
How far away from us are they?
It would be quicker to get to them than to get to the starbase that you are headed to.
Okay.
So within the space of an hour, you could be where the Klingon fleet is, in the same location as the Athens and the Galileo.
Okay. So I will, Captain. There is a Klingon fleet moving towards our location at I assume high warp. They are
I would call it
medium warp. Medium warp. They're taking a stroll, Captain. And I would they should be here within. Well, if it would take us an hour to meet them in the middle, they should be here in 2 hours, sir.
Kara. Once that information is out there and people can hear it, you're a stellar cartographer, at least partially because you're a pilot. Make an I'm a stellar cartographer partially because I'm a pilot roll, which will be, it's definitely a sciencey thing. Yes. Getting to use that. It reason science. I like it. You have a 15. Astrometrics and navigation applies as a focus. What do focuses give you again?
They let me get a 4 as my crit thing for my discipline.
Oh, correct. That's right. So 4 is your crit number, and 15 is your number. Reason science is the right call. 2 successes. You double check your work just to not be wrong. Is 2 successes. You're pretty damn sure you're right as soon as you get the info on your screen. You know right where they're headed. They're headed to the planet of the Oompa Loompas.
We should have gone back to the recording and looked up that name.
I know.
No, it's too late now. No, this is so much better. If it helps you at all, there's at least 3 apostrophes in that. It's the planet of the Oompa Loompas.
Loompas. Yeah, there you go. I like that. We do have a name for that planet. I just don't remember it for the life of me, and I don't remember which episode it was because we have so many recordings, and I'm like, So I figured, you know what? You know who would know? Az would know.
So
I'm pretty sure he forgot too.
Probably. But that is where the Klingon occupation fleet is pointed, Kara. You're aware of that.
Hey, Captain! Feel like doing something incredibly stupid and incredibly noble?
You mean try to intercept that fleet along with those 2 Federation starships? The other thing I'll note, too, is that we just encountered one of the ladies who was responsible for, say, helping us at that planet before.
Well, wait a second.
Gave us cryptic warning and to blow us up.
There's a couple things here that first I need you off. Hippie, were those other 2 Federation ships going to intercept them? Because we never had... They were moving, but we didn't know to where.
They are not moving to intercept an entire fleet, despite the fact that the Galileo is a very capable ship. The Galileo and the Athens stayed at observation distance and are continuing to do so. The fleet has not altered course to intercept them, and probably by this point knows that Starfleet is watching.
Kara also
I got
hasn't
an
bothered
idea.
to mention where they're going yet. She has simply phrased a very vague question.
Oh, okay, so I don't have that information yet. Okay.
Kara figures that out based on stellar cartography knowledge, which makes sense to me.
So, once again, she simply asks, "So, Captain, how'd you like to do something incredibly stupid and incredibly noble?"
I'd like to live.
Rissa raises an eyebrow when he says, "I'd like to live." She points
So
and
does
says,
Whately.
"What he
In that
Like he
case,
said.
we should definitely keep going the direction we're going and not go back to that planet with the little orange fascists.
Marcus kind of has that thought of like, is there any possibility?
In fact, they weren't all terrible. They were all kind of terrible. They weren't.
I like that. They weren't all terrible. They were all just kind of terrible.
Let's see. So here,
I died.
you didn't come in, Kara or Kendra.
It was just a character. I said, yeah, but we let the one good guy die.
Oh. Yeah, you did.
He wasn't that
so
good.
there's a thought here of wheels within wheels. So Marcus says, is there any possibility we can get in sort of the ballpark range that we'd be able to see what's happening with the Klingons on that planet and sort of respond if anything happens, but also be able to definitely escape if they start pursuing us?
Larissa,
I was about to say,
Larissa-
ask Larissa. I just pilot this thing.
Larissa looks down at the con and ops station and says, "I trust Kara and the chief with my life."
All right. So
Finally, some
here's
respect around here.
Oh God! Don't let Sizik on the bridge.
Larissa is, by the way, Mike. Larissa is a Zindi reptilian.
Okay, fair.
So let's see.
Have no budget. We can make them anything we want.
Yeah, totally fair.
Let's see. So Marcus is going to say, okay, if we can get in the ballpark and keep our escape options open, let's see what happens. Because again, we were just encountered by those Orions who might have an interest in this planet and substantial firepower, and there's a Klingon fleet heading towards it, and they may not necessarily agree with that decision. So if we're just kind of there, we might be able to provoke something.
Kara sits there for a second, starts inputting the course changes. So, almost certain death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Moon, Ensign Moon, over at his auxiliary station. It's not a face palm; it's a forehead palm. Just sets his head down into his hand, and you hear him saying to himself, "I did not expect this when I signed up for Starfleet." He's like, I expected long stretches of nothing. Space is vast and empty, they said. And then we cut back.
So, can I do a roll for Kara to see if we at least get good positioning on this? Because Kara is a very good pilot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also would want the ship to help out as much as possible. Make sure we also, Quentin, get some sciencing done to try to find any nice little hidey holes
of the planet beforehand. I like that. So for
or the system.
Piloting, I think we go with control and on. So 11 and 5. You have a 16. You're not just kind of good at piloting. You're really good at piloting. And
I have 3 successes because remember my control skill is augmented, which is why there was a higher threat range.
Also, your in this case, defensive maneuvering with piloting a ship, which means that your crit range was 5 and below. You have 3
4
successes.
successes.
3. Because that 3 becomes a 2.
Yeah, so that plus the automatic success from augmented Do we really need to get the ship involved? That could just cause complications.
That could just. But you did say you were depending on the ship as well, so
I didn't say that.
don't worry. The ship gave you 2 more successes, so you're 1.
Yeah.
The ship only should have rolled 1 die, though.
You're correct. The ship should have only rolled 1 die. The first one was 10. That's still good enough. So
5 total successes.
We are looking at
Right?
a lot of momentum. You guys should use it. We're in the last 30 minutes of the game here, 20 to 30 minutes of the game, and we're done for the night anyway. So the Reliant
And we're done forever.
the Reliant returns and warps into beautiful warp space, and we see we see a cutscene at a cutscene that says last week, and it's a Bolian, I think. I'm sure Duncan can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a blue alien gets punched in the face by a big green hand and spits like blue blood down onto the ground. He's tied to a chair in some like spy interrogation nonsense, and there's a blonde I can call up the picture of Claire Danes as an Orion again, but it's the blonde one who is like leaning down in front of him so she can look in his eyes, while standing next to him are a few like big stupid looking, like they're like big Orion toughs, like they could wear the word like goon number 1 and goon number 2 on their chest. They're like they're hirelings essentially in terms of what they're beating this poor guy up, and as his face like comes back up, he says, he doesn't care about me. Whatever you think you're gonna get from this, not gonna go your way. And she says, I have no idea what we want from this. What is that guy's name, Duncan?
Alchemaon.
He says, you have no idea what we want from this, Alchemaon. No idea. And then we cut back to the Reliant warping into. So we've now seen 2 of the Orion sisters in this episode, and the Reliant warps into a good position outside, just outside of the orbit of the planet that you're aiming toward. I won't say the planet of the. Well, the planet's name can be Oompa, off the planet Oompa.
I still like little orange fascists.
There is one faction of them that is like that, or was. May still be. It's only been a few months since you were there, and the Reliant comes into a very distant orbit around the planet, and you pick something up that is really, really, really odd. You need to make a science-y check to see if you can if you can figure out. It will be a reason science, which for you is 15. I am going to let you have your criticals on a 4 or better, because this is something you wrote a report on. Remember, you have 5 momentum currently.
We are spending that momentum.
I think we have 3. Also, did the ship get a roll on that too?
Sure, the ship does get a roll on that. It rolls 1d20. So 1d20, and the ship comes in at a 14 with no successes.
Oh,
Oh no.
You could, Baz, hey Bazzy. You could.
oh my god!
And that's man.
So either we have no momentum whatsoever left, or we just ran into a remote stellar string or something.
You didn't use any momentum, though. It's just 2 dice. You didn't roll anything extra.
I used the dice to re-roll the rolls that were 0.
Yeah, so there was already
I missed the first roll.
So we went from 5 to 3 with that. And now we've got a complication from the ship and me. So either we go down to 1 momentum or we run into something terrible.
It's either 1 momentum or a complication occurs.
I vote the momentum.
I can. Okay, yeah. Spend the momentum because I can generate more.
Spend 2 momentum, actually.
Yeah,
in order to roll the die.
Can we just spend those to get automatic successes? Do we have to roll them again?
Yes, you have to roll them again. I'm sorry. So you're going to get rid of the 20, I imagine. And what do you get? It's only one die. Aro will save the ship, like usual. I'm not sure of that.
Come on.
3 successes!
My
works.
God.
That was worth it. I must say, that was worth it. So, the Reliant zooms into a good position in the far orbit of the planet. If you remember the name of the planet of the orange people, you would be our hero. But the
I'm sure everyone remembers it. It's Oompa off of the planet Loompa. I don't know why you keep forgetting.
I think you're correct. It's the planet Oompa. Otherwise,
Planet Oompa in this Loompa star system.
but regardless, you pick up something in the system in a closer orbit of the planet, Quentin, and it is not a cloak, although it's very much like a cloak. There is a ship that is emitting a radiation that is not leaving achionic residue. The only reason that you're able to pick it up is because you wrote a paper about it when you were on your cadet cruise. Going to the what's the name of the cluster there? Delta
Valanus.
Yeah, as you were on your way into that cluster, you guys detected a star that was in the process of disintegrating, and it was becoming a nova, right? It was becoming this huge nova in space, and you wrote a paper on it and detected particles and radiations in there which have the ability to fool sensors. It was one possible fooling sensors was one possible application of this in the paper that you wrote. So that very first nebula is that you ever encountered on the Reliant is the kind of energy you're detecting in the system. And once, because you have 3 successes, once you account for that, you can see a slave master battleship coming into view in orbit of the planet. And because you don't have the complication, you're also able to detect, just as you manage to get into that far orbit, coming into the system at the same time as you, other slave, there are now the ship you encountered out by the asteroid belt warps into the system to meet the other. There are now 2 Orion slave master battleships in orbit of this planet, kind of hanging in space, looking at each other in some way.
Captain, we've got company.
Do they intend to fight each other?
We'd only be so lucky.
Back at Tactical, Larissa's like, what she said. We could only be so lucky. More likely, it's another one of the sisters.
Whately is immediately going
indeed.
to reach out and see if he can identify, who is on those ships.
The ship that just arrived near about the same time you did, because they left the same area you left about the same time. That ship is the people that you expect to be on it. The dark-haired Orion captain is known as Dara, and that ship is known as the OSS Iron Vault. On board the other ship, I can tell you that the commander is. Let me look again. The commander is Mina, who was the one who orchestrated the smuggling of the Epos to Romulan colonies that didn't have it yet by getting you guys to chase down the mining crew by giving you guys. She committed 2 crimes at the same time and gave you one so that she could get away with the other. Is what she did. She let you see the mining crew. And she's the one in charge of that other ship.
Yeah, but we didn't retrieve all the Epos, which made Lieutenant Tardigrade really sad because he tried to protect the Epos with anti-transporter blankets, which didn't work. So that's very important backstory. So anyway,
Whately tells the captain who it is.
So Marcus nods and says, "So we've got a choice here. We can either sit back, enjoy the show, report back, or we can join in and help. The question is who?"
Sir,
Captain?
speaking as a member of the crew, I could say that we'd like to go for the bizarre and risky. It's worked for us so far.
Oh my gosh. I am so Starfarer Theta. I am so glad that you just wrote that in chat because you are absolutely right. I think this should be the moment that Oakley realizes that he's not just a metal boy anymore. No, these are the ones who shot him, and he should do something about it.
No.
Oh,
fire Oakley out of a torpedo tube.
They didn't do that, but yeah, we've got an angry beat going on.
Yeah, so Kendra?
I think we have a third option.
What is our third option?
We could
fourth?
try diplomacy.
He's thinking through the angles of how that would work out. You've got a Klingon fleet pointed at an Orion fleet. And the chances the Klingons backing down from that are pretty nil.
It is my area of expertise.
Bressa says, last we knew, the Orions were working for the Imperial Klingons. Mercenaries or not, if they've been paid, they may still have that allegiance. I don't necessarily think they're against each other.
Indeed. And if we communicate with them, then we're outing ourselves, and that is a large fleet to try to evade. So I would not like to make the first move in this situation.
Tactically speaking, Captain, they're not going. Galileo and Athens are not having to evade. Fleet isn't even concerning itself with them.
Yeah, so there's something going on here.
This is not Federation territory. This is no man's land.
Kara, just speaking with the bluntness of a biologist, simply says, "Prey waits."
Mr. Bryce.
Back on the comm badge. This is Bryce.
How are you at communication intercepts and decryption?
Really not my specialty, but I can. Rissa cracks her fingers and says, Chief Tactical Officer for a reason. He says, I can work with up close kind of locks and data transfer devices. Close is more my thing.
My suggestion would be to see if we could get enough of an angle to intercept their comm traffic and see what the situation is before we make any sort of shooty or talky decisions.
More intel and
Marissa says, I can scan completely passively and just pick up what we can pick up.
yeah, let's do that.
She activates passive scans and sends a copy down to your operations spot, Chief. Because as noted in chat, the last time we had something to decrypt, the Chief did it. So
the Chief
handing it to you as well.
And the Chief does have a character sheet now, thanks to Eli.
Oh, thanks, Eli.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so let me see if I've still got it. There we go.
Awesome. Nice. I will bring that up right now. Chatty.
Chatter that you all get. It's nothing super. In fact, the only stuff that you get that is able to be picked up with non-passive scanning is they both ships have sent a greeting ping, and they have an active comm channel, and both ships also have an active subspace comm channel, non-local, that is moving. That's what you can pick up.
So a moving comm channel, moving comm channel for something that's moving. How far away?
Subspace. You can pick up their direct comm. Channel back and forth with each other as a local communications channel, but both of them are also sending a subspace channel, which is out of the system, and what you can tell about it is it is moving, whatever it is.
So can we, given the fact that it's moving and we're getting a channel from 2 points, can we triangulate it?
Absolutely. And then do a long-range scan, which would have to be active, which... if
we need to do it's basically, I'm just looking to see if we can, with what we know from the sensor, we wouldn't necessarily then do a long-range scan, but from what we can tell on passive, can we do triangulation with that?
Yes, whatever it is moving toward this system.
So they're communicating with that. Interesting.
From which
border? You can also triangulate that it is not the Klingon fleet, because it's not. They're not sending a signal to the Klingon fleet. You can tell that because it's not the right location.
So there's Orions here. So what is the composition of this fleet that we see in front of us?
Right now, 2 slave master battleships.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and continue to wait for the third.
And you wait for the third. It doesn't take all that long. It becomes quite obvious that the thing they were communicating with that is out of the system was this third ship. And I don't know what I want to call it, but it's a bigger version of a slave master. Maybe like a slave master warship instead of battleship or something.
You mean the war barge that Hassan had?
Yes. Is that what it's called? A war barge?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that is what the third ship is. It's bigger than a slave master. And Waitley, you're like, who is it? Bing. Oh, it's the blonde sister, one that really hates us for no reason. She feels like she's coming in with leverage. That's what you can tell. Actually, make a roll. You might even know more than that. Because you're you're Whately. You have telepathy.
Can
And I am paying
can Nick
very close attention to this.
Can they do the? Can Nick join in with his telepathic abilities too?
I can indeed roll 1 die to assist. Whately, your number is 15. Eli, your number is 14. 1 success on the assist.
Damn it! I'm sorry. I thought I hit 1.
And 2 successes on. I'm gonna let it slide because it's just as cool to give you guys a momentum back. Right here at like what is pretty much the end of the game. What was your question, Whately? Oh, I was telling you may learn more. She feels like she's coming in with leverage. But she feels like she is coming in with leverage against she feels like she has leverage against Starfleet. You know that when she comes in, not against any specific person. You can't pick up any specific person, but you feel like they know. With your telepathy and the way that it works, you know that they are well aware Starfleet isn't just going to let Klingon occupation fleet, fly up here and take over the planet. There's going to be something that happens, and you feel like this last Orion, Mina, Dara, and let me go look at the sheet. Nava is the one that tried to have the captain framed for murder. Mina, Dara, and Nava. Nava arrives thinking she has leverage over Starfleet. There's not a one of them that work for the KDF. They work for the Syndicate. All of these ships are OSS something. But now all 3 sisters are in these big, nasty battleships floating above the planet. And they have active scans going. Kara, you're having to move back and move around and get behind things and all that.
Kara
we got 6
says,
successes on that.
Kara says simply,
you guys
I got
are
the
fine.
dukes.
Yeah, basically, you're skirting around the far outside of the system so that they don't detect you, but you can detect all 3 of them. What would you guys like to do?
So here's a quick question: how close is that Klingon fleet?
Klingon fleet is still over a day away.
Okay, so there's not I couldn't just pop out of the system and then send the Klingons a message.
Hence, when the chief asked before what speed they were moving, or when he mentioned they were moving at high warp, I was like, call it medium warp, because they're meant to be arriving later in the situation. They're like a day or slightly more than a day out from this planet.
Would let's see. I'm still contemplating that option. So we've got the 3 Orions here. They think they've got leverage over us. And they are sort of fixed on this planet. Overall, this is still not a good situation. But there's that diplomacy angle of which way do we go?
Kendra sends
it's
a message to the captain privately.
I was about to add Kendra.
I'm going to actually message you.
All right.
Ooh, a message. I was about to say Kendra, actually, because of her diplomacy and having worked with a woman on the planet, could make an insight command check at 15 with her critical number at 4 to know another piece of information about Dara, I believe is her name. Yeah, about Dara.
Okay, what was that? It was 14?
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Air guns. 1 success. You're pretty certain that whatever plan they have...
I didn't roll right.
Oh,
I only rolled 1 or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's correct. So roll proper. And we'll see what you got. We can also say you do have one success and just count the first.
Do you want me to just roll one since I rolled
Yeah,
one
just-
already?
do that. And your critical range is 5, by the way, so that's actually 2. You got a critical there.
Yay!
Oh my, yeah. So you guys fill up on momentum right at the end of the game, as you realize that whatever their plan is, whatever the Orion's plan is, it's already it's probably already in action on the planet's surface. And
Can I throw you something, Hippie, out of character?
Sure.
Just for you to play with if you ever want to, as a reminder, Kendra does have her orb experience that gave her flashes of the future.
Right on. You have a flash of bridge exploding around you, panels bursting into sparks, some kind of nonsense prop falling from the ceiling, and you being in great piercing ridiculous pain like you've never felt before. And then you realize that she is, and that's the feeling you get when you're trying to like think about them, because you realize that whatever the Orions are doing has already started on the planet. Whatever they are doing here, they've already started it. And if you want to talk to them, your best choice is definitely Dara. She likely won't just kill you first. The other two very much might. Unless they would want to toy with you.
Kendra kind of falls forward onto her console a little bit with a hand to her head and kind of grimaces, and then she turns sharply towards the captain. Captain? If we're going to talk to someone, it needs to be Dara. And I can't explain to you right now, but there's things already happening on the planet that we don't know about.
That might also be why the Klingons are arriving then. So there's an additional complication here, where Starfleet may try to intervene, but the Orions could be just using us to defend their territory. So we need to, first of all, find a way of getting a message to Starfleet to hold back, and not be the first ones to engage the Klingons.
Agreed.
Larissa nods, but your chief tactical officer, obviously, she repeats it. She says, I'm still not of the opinion the Klingons and the Orions are on opposite sides.
Kara speaks up as well. It would seem most obvious that the Orions and the Klingons are working together. They've had this agreement for quite some time. Occam's razor and all that.
It doesn't mean they can't be turned against each other, however.
I need to make 3 rolls to end the game.
There's
3 rolls. The first one actually has
always going to look after itself.
Not good enough. The first one, not good enough.
Is this good or bad for us?
Second one, good enough. That's bad for you. Third one. So while you're considering your options and you're talking about things, Quentin, you see an active sensor. You see 2 active sensor scans. Ping the direct area that you're in. You have been discovered.
Captain,
I would like to know. Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
Let me go. Okay, I would like to point out that if this was against Kara, they have only just matched her successes.
I was actually going to say that they've not matched it because Kara got 6 successes.
She got 5.
Pretty sure got 6.
It was 5.
But still,
Okay.
they ping the area that you're in. You're pretty certain they know. What I'm saying is, Quentin, you're sure they know that someone is out here. You don't know that they've been able to identify you as Reliant. You know that they know there's someone else in the system. For certain.
Captain, we've been lit up. I can't tell you how, if they've gotten IFF on us, but they know we're here.
All right, that's our cue to go.
As soon as we leave, they'll know we were here for sure. I can't hide that.
They will pursue us, Captain.
Yep, that's why my orders were to find somewhere that we could skedaddle without being captured by a
where
fleet.
can we go if something happens? Exactly. And
that was why.
Down in engineering, Rick spools up the warp engine and basically gets everything ready at his console, and we hear the familiar hum of the Reliance engines getting ready, and space around these 3 giant, basically think these gigantic menacing Orion battleships suddenly just have squadrons of small fighters peel off of them like big bugs releasing tinier bugs that begin to jet into space, and Reliant turns a little bit and warps away from the system as space fills with these small Orion corvettes that are looking at the area that Reliant just was. And with that, because we're right where I was thinking we would be, little bit over, I'm sorry, but yeah, with that we end the first episode with the first episode of the finale with a bunch of Orion ships looking at where Reliant just was, and we will pick up right there next week, or next week, 2 weeks, I guess. I come tell stories when people say we're playing. Technology doesn't work for me.
Carr just says to no one in particular, well, I don't know if it was noble, but definitely stupid. I got that part right.
Good job.